What an amazing week. I performed at the world famous Magic Castle for the first time in nearly 2 years. Not by my own choice. There's been a worldwide pandemic. Maybe you heard about it. I have a video that I'm putting together right now. I got some clips of me working the close-up gallery. I want to start off by saying I learned a lot about myself this week, and I remembered a lot about why I perform and why I do what I do. But that's for another video. Today I'm going to answer your questions from Ask Hannibal Anything for August. The one at the end, the very last one, troubled me and gave me a lot of pause, and I put a lot of thought into my answer. So stick around. Top of the question list from Cool CMAC, Cool CMAC. My question is, what is the key to using storytelling to connect with others, whether during performance or other creative ventures? Well, let me tell you. The most important aspect about connecting with your audience and being able to use the storytelling and the magic ability and the presence on stage to connect with them is, number one, be honest. Be who you are. Be 100%. Be as connected to yourself and who you are and what you believe as possible, and then be honest with your audience, and you will find the connections happening. Telling a story made up from whole cloth is great, but there are precious few who can do it with sincerity and depth of feeling in a story that is basically made up. If you draw from your own memories, and you have plenty of those, if you draw from your own experiences, you're going to find yourself connecting with the people that are in front of you, because after all, we are so much more alike than we are different. As an addendum to that, don't be afraid to be real.
This question comes from Joshua Dempsey. Will you ever come to England? I personally would love it if you could at some point.
Yes, please.
This one comes from Snyder Burned 90. My question for you is there any possibility to see you in Germany? Love your work and hope the best for you.
Yes, please.
This question comes from Michael McDermott. Love your acts. Will someday travel to see you. Ever come to Ireland?
Yes, please. Honestly, this work, this art, this gift that's in my hands has taken me all over the world. The world is coming back around, and I'd love to go out and see it again. If you have a venue, if you have a company that would like a performance, if you have a magic club that would like a lecture and a performance, and anything else you would like, I'd be happy to travel and come and see you. My information is in the links below, and you can get right in touch. I do have plans to put together tours of my own, but we're talking late into next year, possibly 2023, before I'm going to be able to do that. I have to refill my savings accounts. I need to restructure my way to survive. But if you have a show, I'll be there.
This question comes from CEB795. First of all, thank you so much for doing what you do, and I love your work because of how much you enjoy it and love it. But my question is, I've noticed you use comedy in majority of your acts. Have you ever thought about doing stand-up comedy as a hobby, or possibly another way of entertaining people?
The short answer is yes. In fact, for about 5 or 6 years in the late 90s, when comedy clubs were all the rage, I was doing stand-up comedy. I did a little bit of magic on stage as well, but I was a very strong middle act. I would do a very tight, very funny, very boisterous 20 minutes, collect my paycheck, and watch the headliner. And I traveled all over the southeastern part of America playing comedy clubs night after night after night for, I'm going to say, a good 5 years. So yeah, comedy's kind of ingrained itself in me in that way.
This question comes from Michael Dominic. Since you've been at home, have you been working on new tricks? Or out of boredom discovered new ways to do old tricks?
I have been working on new material, and I have been polishing the old ones. It never really got boring, you know what I mean? It got lonely. It got oppressive. It got a little anxious there for a little while, but it never got boring. And I'll tell you what, my creativity went through the roof and spiked when I actually got the opportunity to start working again. Last week, working at the castle, doing shows night after night, 4 shows a night, sometimes 5 shows a night, sometimes. The creativity spiked. I was writing notes furiously backstage to keep up with the thoughts and the ideas that were popping through my mind. And I can't wait to share those things with you. So the answer is yes. I did use my time, even when I was sitting and just staring at the wall, and using my ability to keep breathing and to sing to myself and to take care of myself and practicing self-love and self-care. Yes, it was all beneficial. It was all good.
This one comes from E. Davies. I wish I was in a better financial position to support your content because it never ceases to fill me with a sense of passion. Your perseverance is infectious. I hope to one day soon be able to call myself a patron, as I know few deserve the support more. Thanks for always bringing us the best stories. I'm so glad you're back to the Magic Castle soon. I hope there's love where you are, Hannibal.
I appreciate and am very grateful for each and every one of my patrons on my Patreon page. Some people donate $1 a month, and I love them very dearly for it. I'm thankful very, very much for those people. Some people donate $5 a month, and so on up. I am grateful for the $5 donors. I'm grateful for the $1 donors. I'm grateful for the Patreons who have the ability and the comfort to be able to support what I do. I'm grateful for you for expressing the desire to be able to help me out. And perhaps sometime you can. And I know that I will pass it on in the art and the love that I put out into the world. So thank you. And there is love where I am. And I sincerely hope there's love where you are.
I use a / 3 times. Do you want me to say that? This one comes from AKA Media System. Really happy to hear you're recovering and getting back to the stage, and in an excellent venue to boot. As for my question, I'd love to hear about the cheekiest / most nefarious use / misuse of your storytelling / illusory abilities.
Once upon a time, I was working behind the bar at a bar called Harper's, restaurant called Harper's. I was there for many, many years. One night, there was a group of young men seated at one side of the bar and a group of young women seated at another side of the bar. One of the gentlemen that I was performing for looked over my shoulder and offered me $50 to get the phone number of one of the girls sitting across from him. They had been trading some eye glances and there was some flirting going on, and she was definitely interested. But he did not have in him at the moment, he didn't have enough liquid courage, I think, to go and ask her for her number herself. So he said, if you can get her number, I will give you $50. So I turned around and I walked across the bar and talked to the young lady sitting there. And I said, the gentleman seated behind me offered me $20 to get your phone number. And if you will pass it on, I'll happily split that with you and give you 10. It's worth a free drink or two here. And she said something like, well, I think he's cute anyway, so sure. And so I gave her $10. She gave me her phone number. I walked back across and took the gentleman's $50 and gave him the number. Follow up. They started dating. They got married. They had kids. I performed at their wedding. I performed at several Christmas parties of theirs, and they never figured out my little secret.
This question comes from Michael Cohen. Great seeing you out there, testing the waters, post-pandemic craziness, post-societal loss of common sanity. Looking great, a new experience in store for you as you re-enter this new world in this positive manner. Looking gnarly. Is that a question? There was no question in there. There were question marks, and so I assumed there was a question. Gnarly.
Gnarly.
This one comes from just A. Do you earn good money when active? Are you planning to organize your great last show sometime in the future? Like a farewell?
An interesting question. First of all, yes, I have made very good money in doing what I do. It has It has certainly been a concern, and it has certainly been a driving force, at least at one point in my life. At one point in my life, I was supporting a wife and 4 children just doing card tricks. So yes, the money has been good. The money still supports me and takes care of me. It is not my primary focus, at least not anymore, but it has served me well. As for a last show, I treat every show as if it was my last show, because one day it will be. Do I have plans for a big final farewell? Do I have plans for a retirement show? No, I don't. I will do this until I am no longer able to do this, and then I will lay myself down. And that's that. This is what I was born to do, and I will do it as hard as I can for the rest of my life.
This question is from Mark Tompkins. Chris.
Who's Chris?
First off, I know that your act is all about illusion. My question is this. As a spectator, how can we distinguish an illusion artist versus a black magic act? Some of the things I've seen on America's Got Talent are mind-blowing, and I would say impossible to perform. Is there a formula that can help an audience to know when to turn off an act or switch the channel?
Let me answer this very sincerely and very carefully. Mr. Tompkins, every act, and I do mean every act, that you have seen on television or live on stage, America's Got Talent, Penn and Teller's Fool Us, World's Greatest Magicians, any magic acts you see on YouTube from way back in the day until modern times, my own act included, and every magician I know and every magician I don't know. This is performance conjuring. There is no black art magic. What you are seeing is a person delivering an act to the best of their abilities. Just because you don't understand how something is done does not mean there is a supernatural force at work. They are tricks. They are sleight of hand. They are a performer and a trained artist who has worked very hard at the art of making something look impossible. And no magician on stage, on screen, on America's Got Talent, no performing artist uses the black art to do what they do. Like Robert De Niro or Meryl Streep plays many parts in the movies. They are merely parts. They are merely actors doing their craft. They do not physically change into those people. At the end of the day, when the cameras stop running and they go home, they are themselves. They are Bob De Niro and Meryl Streep going home to put up their feet after a hard day's work. What we do, my brothers and sisters and siblings and all performance artists do, is take the gift we were given, the heart that we have, the love for our audiences, and we work it as hard as we can with all of our might to bring you pleasure, to fool you, to make you laugh, to make you gasp, to make you scratch your head in disbelief. There's nothing sinister going on here. There's nothing dark going on here whatsoever. And anyone who tells you differently is really trying to fool you. I will wait for the helicopter to pass. The final part of your question reads, is there a formula that can help an audience to know when to turn off an act or switch the channel? Yes, there is. If you'd like to write this down, I'll wait for a second. When do you change the channel? When do you stop watching? When it stops being entertaining. When it becomes boring, when it becomes dull, you vote with your thumb and you change the channel then. If it makes you wonder, if it fills you with delight or intrigue or mystery, deep-seated mystery, then the magician, the person pretending to be a magician, has done their job. They fooled you. They delighted you. They made you laugh out loud. They made you question the things around you. And isn't it great that life has the ability still to make us question the things around us? There's no evil going on here. There's no black art going on here. We're doing our job. We're spreading our love. The formula is, if you don't like it, don't watch it. If you like it, watch it again. Share it with friends. Help keep live performance alive. We can do this over the internet. We can play to screens, and it's not nearly as satisfying as live theater and the live audiences I get to be in front of. I love to have a live audience in front of me, reacting and acting and being a part of the dance. And I do it with love, and I do it with the gift that I was given. Here I am. Thanks for your questions. I hope I've given you a little satisfaction in what I had to say. And I'll talk to you soon. And more than anything else, I hope there's love where you are. Talk soon.